Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relix, and today we're going to go over My Hero Academia Season 7, Episode 4. If you guys have been with me for the past few weeks, you guys will know that I've been doing reviews for each episode, giving them a grade at the end, scale 1 to 10, as well as reviewing everything that happened in the episode and what we can look forward to, as well as just my thoughts and opinions on the episodes as a whole. And so if you guys have not seen these, this is your spoiler warning. This is full spoilers. I am going to talk about the entire episode and everything that happens in it, as well as the characters and stuff. So if you guys have not seen it, you may stop this video now, or you can watch if you want. Otherwise, I suggest you go watch it. Every episode's been pretty good so far. I will say now that this is probably my weakest episode of the season so far. So of the 4, this one will most likely be like the weakest as far as overall, I don't know how you want to say it, viewership. Like I not viewership as in like its popularity, but I wouldn't really rewatch this one necessarily compared to like the other ones, just because I guess you can say the other episodes had a lot more action. This episode just kind of continues the previous episode and just goes a little bit more in depth into what the characters are going to be doing going forward. So it's not necessarily a jump in time as much as it's just adding to what happened in the past episode. So let's just get started right away. So first of all, again, if you guys have been watching, you guys know that I am putting up a hero of the episode. And again, like I said, this episode didn't have as much action. However, Mei Hatsume is the hero of the episode, mostly because she probably technically did the most hero work, you can say. I don't deny that there are other heroes that could have been chosen for this, such as, for example, Aizawa Sensei. He makes his appearance once more, and he does put something into action, as well as he also, towards the end of the episode, we find out that he is interrogating Aoyama and, trying to find out if he can still be trusted, if he can still be a hero. And that's the whole point of the episode, is based on the title, the story of how we all became heroes. So what I'm looking for is, okay, how does that title fit into the episode, right? And so basically, just like last time, the title was villain. Well, we found out that Aoyama was a villain. So how does this title fit in? I loved the ending actually to this episode. It was actually well written, and I will discuss that later. But yeah, Hatsume Mei, she is the hero. She did do something in the episode that I will discuss later when we get to her. But for now, let's start with the very beginning of the episode. Besides the recap where they just admitted that Aoyama was the villain and the spy that has been around since season 1 and 2, we also get, I mentioned in my last video that I mentioned most of the students from class 1A. Obviously, the whole class was there to see that Aoyama was the spy. However, only Deku and Mina Ishido were crying, shedding tears. I don't know if that was like an actual point, plot point as far as what the class is feeling. However, I did notice that in this episode, we do get a few more characters shedding tears. And so maybe it was just me reading too much into it. Maybe it's just director decision. I don't know. But more characters were shedding tears, more were concerned, and putting in their opinions about how to go forward with everything. And so Deku especially, based on the determined face here, he still believes, right where we left off from episode 3, that Aoyama can still be a hero, and that it is not his fault that he was coerced into working for All For One. Whether if it was major or minor, obviously a crime is a crime, as the adults are saying. Deku still believes that he can still be redeemed regardless of the situation, and that he can still be a hero. That is his dream. That is all these guys' dreams, right? So I am very happy to see that not just Deku, but everybody, everyone in the class is still rooting for him to be a good hero. And so I think that really fits in well with the class and what the hero course is all about at UA. And then we get a surprise. Aizawa pops in, and I was like, oh my god, he's back. Yay! Because he is a great sensei. I think I've mentioned it before that, at least I think I've mentioned before that I didn't really think much of him when I first found out about the anime. But then now having watched it all the way up to this point, he is definitely one of my favorite, not just favorite heroes, but favorite characters in the entire anime as well. He has such a good backstory, good quirk, and of course good character. He is just an excellent sensei overall, and I think that really shows how he connects with the students, because he too believes that Aoyama could be redeemed and that he does not deserve to be expelled from UA even after all this is, said and done. And I think that speaks volumes to his character, how much he believes in his students, just as how much, belief that he and his friends had when they were kids. But in any case, so he has a plan, because Deku did not have a plan set up. He's just, he's just trying to go with, hey, I believe he can still be a hero, and, we should go with that. But what's that mean, right? What are we going to do? So Aizawa says he has a plan, or at least something that may help them, all the heroes in general. So he asks that the, Aoyamas are taken away, and the students are left out. Not left out necessarily as far as executing the plan, but as much as, having the adults take charge and having the Class 1A be their support as well. And so this was just kind of a small sign to show that Class 1A is now officially going to be doing every single one of them is going to be doing hero work, straight up. It's not just part-time or here and there, things like that. It's actual hero work. They are going to be part of the plan that we will probably see in the next episode. But overall, yeah, the Aoyamas were taken into custody, taken away for interrogation later. In fact, Aizawa was later shown that he was interrogating Aoyama, and he will try and convince him to basically be the hero that they want him to be. So we'll get back into that later towards the end of the episode. But the Class 1A goes back to the dorm, and none of them, you can't see any of their faces. Every single one of them has a depressed face, or looking down, or something of the sort. And it's very depressing to see that they're all like this. Not a single one of them has their head lifted. However, it is also a sign of determination, because while they are depressed, they are sad about the news. Obviously, this breaks their hearts a little bit. They do believe that they should be getting ready. They should be preparing for whatever this plan may be, and make preparations if they need to repair their equipment, if they need to practice, stuff like that. And so basically everyone's kind of hyping themselves up, because they all believe in themselves, and they believe in Aoyama that he can turn things around. Hence the reason why in the next scene we see Lita and Deku going to the development studio to... Oops, my bad. I went ahead of myself here. The development studio, and Hatsume Mei makes her appearance again. And in fine fashion, no less. Just like, I forget, it was season 2? I can't remember what season it was. However, Uraraka and Deku also went to the development studio, and the door blows down just like it does in the top right scene, and even Lita's like deja vu. And then, of course, Hatsume is laying on top of Deku, except this time, instead of in a crazy, what's happening kind of face, Deku's, still has his determined face from when he believes that, that he will get stronger and, be part of the plan to save, the world. And even with Hatsume's boobs all over his face. And so it's kind of funny. Obviously, comedy relief for the episode just because of all the tension that's been going on. And I do think this is a great time for her to make a reappearance. Mostly because, I was even thinking to myself before I even watched the episode, I'm like, I haven't seen her for, a couple seasons now, right? And so I was like, where has she been? What has the support team, support classes been doing? Who knows? And so I was also thinking before I watched the episode that she should make an appearance soon. And if not, they should go and see if they have any inventions that they can use to help, execute this plan. And just like that, just as I was thinking about it, I watched the episode and boom, there they are. And so it was perfect timing. I think it's great that I thought that, and the episode did show that, for them to get not just repairs, but hopefully we learn a lot more about everything that's going on around the school. And so Hatsume Mei, she's been doing inventions of sorts. The development studio has been very active, in fact. Obviously led by Power Loader in the top right corner. He is the head of the department, obviously. But the support teams have been, support classes have been working on the UA barrier, the barrier that keeps the school safe, and how it can be a safe haven for even the civilians of the city. And so, regardless that, they can't fight, they too are working just as hard. This is part of their lives. And Hatsume Mei is actually one of the head developers for the UA barrier, which is quite interesting to find out. So she obviously in the bottom left is working on stuff. She admits to Deku and Lita that she does not have time to repair their equipment. In fact, it's kind of beyond possible because she wasn't the creator, and therefore she cannot actually recreate or repair what's been broken on their equipment. And so she tells them that she's too busy, there's just not enough time, especially since they said that they need it like by today/tomorrow. So she gets right back to work. Unfortunately, she can't do it. However, Deku notices that she is working on something, and her attitude to be able to not work on their equipment like she usually would be able to shows that she is working on something very important. And she does point out that she is working on what I guess I can take from it is a flight system for the whole UA school. Now, I don't know if it's like individual pieces of the school, that's what it kind of looks like on the screen, or if it's like the whole school being lifted into the sky. We will have to wait and see. Obviously, they wouldn't show this without actually maybe executing it later on in the anime, or even in the story in general. So I'm looking forward to seeing, like, not just what she's coming up with, but what is in store with the school itself. Obviously that probably foreshadows that it's probably going to become under attack, and they will probably have to, execute whatever this evacuation plan would be. And so, basically, I was watching this scene, and when she started talking about how, Deku is soft, she has this face saying that he is soft. He doesn't, he basically doesn't really understand what they're going through, and that while they feel powerless because they're not out there on the field, they too have their own hero work, and that's supporting the real heroes that are going out there. That's their job. And she gives him this smile at the end, saying that is their role. The pro heroes, they go out, they fight, they risk their lives so that others can be safe. The support course, they invent, they distribute, invent, and help keep up the pro heroes' equipment, their weapons, everything from their costumes to simple gadgets. And that that is their hero work. That is how they are supporting the world and doing their part. And I think that's very inspirational. I think that was very well spoken, and especially coming from her, where she's usually energetic and just kind of talks nonsense sometimes. For her to have a moment of to slow down and tell Deku that things are okay. She's not oblivious to what's happening in the world, and that she will be there as well as everyone else in the support course to help them get stronger and be able to help them defeat the villains. And I think that was a very special moment for the episode. Hence the reason why I also feel like it led up kind of well into the next part. This. Oh my god. This was hilarious. This scene was hilarious. So basically, if you guys noticed, here, I'll show you guys actually. Which one was it? This one. So while she was facing away from them, with her left hand, there's like little nuts and bolts kind of moving up and down as she was doing stuff with her left hand while she's typing with her right hand. She was in fact actually creating new equipment for Deku and Lita, and hence the reason why these popped up now. These are gloves that replace Deku's gauntlets, and then of course Lita's equipment, she just kind of threw him kind of like replicas, you can say, of his current equipment, and both just smashed their faces in, which is, I guess, to me, I thought it was unnecessary, but at the same time is definitely comedy for the, to relieve all the tension. Again, she is the comedy relief of the episode, and it adds a little bit of, laughter for the, to ease everyone's tension, and I think it was very well played out. I don't know if this was like in the manga, because I've been seeing a lot of memes recently about people tasting lemons and their faces literally turning into this, what it looks like here in Deku's face. So I was like, was this on purpose, or was this actually from the manga itself? I don't know. If it's from the manga, that's hilarious as hell. But in any case, she ended up making replicas of their equipment, and while she can't be perfect, at least she is still trying her best to give them support, and I thought that was actually well done by her to be able to do this. Obviously, plot convenience wise, she did it a little too fast, but it is nice to see that regardless of her saying that she can't do it, that she was still willing to answer their requests and of course make the equipment again. So that was very nice of her. And then that led up into the next scene. Bam, they're running out with their new equipment, and yet their faces are still smashed in. Again, continuing the laughter here. It was really funny. But otherwise, we lead up into Mountain Lady, and she's now going to be directing the Class 1A in their, whatever the plan is that Aizawa is going to be coming up with. And so she goes on to discuss that, hey, we need to, keep our spirits high. We need to split up into groups and take charge of this plan. And even Ashido's very disappointed. She hopes that even with all that's happened, Aoyama will still see that that he can still be a hero, that they support him, and they should believe in each other. And then, of course, they go on to say that we need to split into 3 teams, obviously surrounding the 3 strongest heroes from the class, Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo. And so that's what basically takes place here. It's just a little simple scene. It's nothing super complicated. I thought it was maybe a little unnecessary, which adds to why I feel like the episode itself was a little bit lackluster, because they didn't actually get to do anything here. But it is, again, just like in the last episode, we get to see a lot of the students throwing out their opinions and being able to represent themselves. And again, here we are with the class basically all lined up, but they are all there. They are all determined to do their part and be heroes, whether if it's by training, by supporting the other pro heroes, or doing it themselves. They are ready to take the next step. And I think this was a very nice, touching moment, per se, that we will hopefully see if they will all be able to shine in the episodes to come. I am actually very excited to see if they can actually be as strong as they say they will be. especially for some of the weaker guys. Specifically, if you actually look at it, specifically some of the characters from the right of Bakugo, they're not exactly the strongest heroes of the group compared to all the heroes on the left side of Lita, excluding Koda, for example, because Koda unfortunately hasn't really been able to do much except for, he only speaks to animals and bugs. But overall, the middle characters, they've done the most. The left side the next most, and then of course the right side the least amount. And so I'm hoping at least, we're going to see more from everybody. And again, I mentioned it in a previous episode. You have all these characters, and I feel like you can't be afraid to show them have defeat. And to the point where, yes, maybe even some people will actually die. And we have to remember that these guys are not adults. They're kids. They are in school and putting their lives on the line. And I do think that if this anime wants to be highly rated, you need to show that death is part of war, and that's what they are going through. That is what they are a part of, and regardless of that possibility of dying, they will still do their job and still live out their dreams of being heroes. So hopefully, I'm not saying I want anyone to die. Obviously, I don't want to see any of these characters die. I think all of them are great. But I do think that in order for the anime itself to be good, or not just the anime, but the story itself, like the manga, everything about it, in order for My Hero Academia to be good, it does need to show loss. And, losing pro heroes, for example, like Midnight, that definitely hurt the class. That was as much as we didn't want it to happen, she did die, apparently, off screen. And, that really, it really packed a punch. And so I really hope that if we go forward with everyone involved, we will see some defeat, we will see some losses, and, hopefully it's in a good way. It has a major impact on the story, and it helps the plot go forward. At least that's my opinion. Like I said, I don't want to see anyone die. It's not something I want to see, but I think it is something that has to happen. So that's just my opinion. Then it cuts out to the next scene, and it shows the other pro heroes still out on the field, doing their work, saving civilians from all the destruction caused by the villains. Specifically, it showed Fat Gum, Ryukyu, Nejire, and Sun Eater. So they're all rescuing civilians. The civilians are happy. They want to thank their heroes, but they need to get them to safety. And again, they too know that, even though they're doing their jobs, this is all to support those who will be coming again later, such as Deku and his friends, that will execute a plan to help save the world. And I think it's great that even though they're not involved directly with this plan, they still can believe, and they're still doing their job. On contrary to other heroes who have already given up hope, they've retired, and they don't want to believe in the good of pro heroes anymore. And so to see that these characters are still going out there and fighting is a joy for me. I do enjoy seeing them, act out their part of, the hero work. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't think Nejire lost her hair at any point, right? Or if it's tied up. I don't like that it's short. I'm not a big fan of her short hair, but that's my opinion. So I was kind of disappointed. And then I was also noticing Uraraka, she has her hair tied up in a small ponytail in the back. And I'm like, I don't really like that. It looks kind of weird. I wish they would have their hair down if Nejire has her tied up, but it doesn't look like hers is tied up, so I'm a little disappointed. I don't remember her hair getting cut. If it did, then I just don't remember, but I really liked her long hair. Obviously, she is a fan favorite female character, so, obviously her beauty is definitely one of the things that makes her stand out amongst all the characters. So that's just my opinions on her making her appearance here. But overall, like I said, all of them being here and making a small appearance, what was 30 seconds or so, I was actually happy to see them, because I do like all these heroes. So To cut out to the next scene, though, we go back to the police, and All Might is now laying out the plan that Aizawa has now put into action. The plan basically is to have the villains separated, and that everyone in this room at the police department is part of this plan. So anyone who you don't see from this clip here, from this picture, they are not involved, or they are just not going to be part of it. We also see that Ragdoll, who no longer has her search quirk, it was stolen by All for One. She is involved as well, and she is a little disappointed that her teammates from the Wild Wild Pussycats are not involved as well. But it's not that they can't trust them, it's just that they want to keep a small group of people who have reliable information and or are connected in some way and are very trustworthy. And I think Ragdoll's intelligence definitely speaks volumes compared to her teammates. I think her intel will definitely be very important. Now, what that may, entail, I don't know. I don't know how she will be able to contribute without any of her powers, but we'll see. Just throwing it out there, just because I feel like I need to. She's one of those prime characters that, yes, she lost her quirk, but in the end, if she dies in some kind of fashion, sacrificing her life to help the heroes win, I think that would be justice. And I think, yes, it will be obviously very sad, but she is definitely one of those prime candidates that I would like to see maybe just sacrifice herself for the greater good and, make it count. Same thing for the police officers, look, there's a cat, and I love that. That's absolutely amazing. But he too, I don't remember his name, but he could die too. I want to see the heroes have to suffer casualties as well as the villains. And I think Star and Stripe, her team is obviously still there. I think they too will most likely perish in the coming war. But overall, I think this plan will definitely be both a benefit as well as a detriment to both sides, in fact. So that's what I think is going to happen, at least. That's what I feel like is going to come from this plan. Because it's not going to be as simple as All Might has drawn out. The left one, obviously, is All for One, the circle. The middle one is Dabi, and the right one is Shigaraki. And the whole objective is to separate all three of them, because they are the obvious strongest villains of the league. And so if you separate Dabi, he can't protect either side. You separate All for One from Shigaraki, there's no way they can support each other, and it's a fighting chance. Because All Might does state that if they are together at any given time, then it will be impossible to win, based on what they've seen, what they've heard, and the experiences that everyone's shared and had. So I do agree with that, and I think this plan is definitely something that we can look forward to. Now, how are they going to execute it? That is yet to be seen. They did not exactly reveal that, but hopefully in the next episode we will get at least one of the plans on how they're doing it, or if not all of them, we'll see. That is something that I look forward to the next episode. Towards the end of the episode now, again, like I said, Aizawa was interrogating Aoyama-kun, and he is obviously, he's still out of commission, because he chopped off his leg, he had his eye stabbed, and, he's just not able to do anything right now. So he is taking a rest, but he is still part of this group, and he is still involved, and it is his plan that we will soon find out what that is, and hopefully it's a good one. So he talks to Aoyama and says that, that why is he, what is wrong? Why did he do this kind of thing like that? And it is definitely fear of the hold that All for One has on him and his family, that if he betrays him, that he will die, his family will die. That's the fear that All for One has instilled inside him and his family. And Aizawa is trying to get him to admit that, yes, it is okay to be afraid. Why would anyone not be afraid? I mean, this is the baddest villain of all time. And, who wouldn't be, right? who wouldn't fear for their lives right now? And so it is okay to be afraid and, feel like you are hopeless. And that's why Aoyama is in the position that he is in now, because he has fallen into despair. He doesn't know what to do. And he believes that even if he could redeem himself, he feels like he cannot, in his words, he cannot twinkle like the others. He cannot become a hero like the rest of his classmates because of the deeds he's done already. And Aizawa Sensei definitely goes in and gives him the hard lesson that says, it is not about you. It is not about, him. It is not about any individuals. It is about everybody. It is about everyone working together for the greater good, regardless of what happens afterwards. Obviously, he has to face the music of his actions for being a spy and everything that's happened so far. But to live with the guilt is worse than being able to fix it and, live with no regrets after that. And so I think it was a very touching moment. Honestly, this was probably my favorite part of the episode, and it shows this picture. And I was always saying that, it is not about him, but Sensei, the adults, the other pro heroes out on the field, the other students, they are all pro heroes. He says we are all pro heroes, and I thought that was actually a very special moment. It's not just a few of them. You can clearly see that everyone from the class is here in this picture, and that Aizawa Sensei, as their homeroom teacher, believes in all of his students that they can and all are pro heroes and will be able to do their job and basically, bring peace back to the world and defeat All For One. And I think this was definitely a turning point, because as we can see from these couple pictures here, the whole entire episode, including the last episode, Aoyama had these kind of like gray and black marks under his eyes, obviously because he was crying, he's in despair, he's given up hope. But in these, just something I noticed at least, in these couple scenes, he no longer has those eyes. His eyes are now lit up, they have light in them. Yes, he's crying, but they are no longer dark, they're no longer shadowed. And I think this was a moment, a changing turning point for him to believe again, to have hope and be able to actually live out his dream of being a hero once more, because Aizawa was telling him that he too is involved and he too can still be a hero. Hence the reason why the title kind of comes back again, and the episode title in the bottom picture comes back at the very end of the episode, saying the story of how we all became heroes. And I think that's very symbolic. I thought that was well played. Usually you want to play the episode title in the very beginning of the episode, but here it is at the very end, the last scene of the entire episode. And then the credits play. Then we get a after credits scene, and that is Mr. Spider-Man here hanging upside down in a tree. So Hitoshi Shinso, we remember him from 2 seasons ago now, I believe. Or was it last season? I think it was 2 seasons ago. He was trying out to become part of the hero course, and he has the brainwashing quirk. He is now back in action, apparently. He is going to be part of the plan, maybe. We will see, but this is what the after credits scene had to show us, and that he was ready to... there was a couple other students too, but I don't know who they were. But he is ready to go out as well and do his part. So what that may be, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be involved with the actual plan, but we will see. Based on his quirk being brainwashing, I wouldn't be surprised if he would be able to convince Aoyama to be able to trick All For One, which is basically what they've been saying this entire time. And so I hope that he also plays a big part going forward, because at first I didn't think he was a great character. I thought he was going to be a little bit boring. But after his tryout to become a hero in the hero course, I thought it was very well played out. and I thought those battles were actually really good. He makes me think that he can also be a very strong hero going forward into the show. So props to him. I'm actually happy that he's made an appearance, and like I said, I'm looking forward to the next episode. But that was pretty much it. My thoughts on this is just a little lackluster as far as action is concerned. Obviously, it's a little bit more, planning out and talking about what's going to be going on in the next coming episodes. Unfortunately, we did not see any villains this time, which is fine. We can't see the villains every step of the way, but I kind of want to see what the villains are doing in the meantime. Obviously, that's going to be kind of like the surprise, I guess. Even though the heroes have their plans and they're putting it into action, nothing's going to go accordingly, and I bet you that we're going to see some major losses, if not some losses here and there. And like I said, I'm expecting some people to die. I am expecting some people to die or be very defeated to the point where, heck, they might even lose their quirks. I don't know. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a big battle in the next couple episodes, if not, this whole war, coming to the forefront again. And now that we've established that Class 1A is going to get involved, I want to see what they are capable of now that they're not just getting older, but they are now, what's the word? Elevating their talents, elevating their quirks to the next level. And so overall, I'll give this episode kind of like maybe a 5. It was average. It was an average episode. Nothing special about it, really. Nothing really too bad either. But it wasn't the most, mind-blowing episode, and it wasn't the most like I gotta watch it again, kind of thing. I got the information I needed, and they're basically have a plan and they're going to execute it. That's kind of it. Like, it really wasn't. I don't think it needed to be as drawn out as it did. Obviously, Hatsume Mei making her appearance again is kind of like just filling the gaps. I think that's what this episode was doing, was filling the gaps on who's involved, what's going to happen, and give us some extra background on what the other characters are doing. And I think obviously the UA barrier definitely needed a little bit of explanation from the last season, because it's kind of funny how this massive wall and barrier for the school just kind of popped out of nowhere. Who's been working on this thing, right? And how is it so good? Well, obviously the support course, not just her, not just Power Loader, but everyone from the school's development is obviously working in on it, and they are trying to help protect everybody. And I think that's awesome to see, that the background characters are getting some light shine on them, and that I think that's also a good contribution to going back even to the beginning seasons, how there's different courses and different characters that have different roles. And I think that's amazing to see that they're all now coming together and working together as one unit in one place. So overall, I think the story will progress now going forward. But yeah, this episode is a little bit slow for me, so I'll give it a 5. Probably, again, like I said, the weakest episode so far, but it was still a good one. Like I said, I loved the finish of the episode. That the speech that Aizawa was giving Aoyama was just absolutely beautiful, and going forward, I want to see that happen. I want to see all of Class 1A be pro heroes. And so that's just my thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy this episode? Did you guys agree with what I had to say? Do you guys disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. Obviously, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said, I will be doing these episode reviews after every episode every week. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. I know this one also got a little lengthy, just like last time. But I have a lot to say, and I love this anime so much that this episode, how long was this episode anyways? This episode itself was 23 minutes. So basically like 20-minute episode. It was a little bit short for me. It went by super fast. Like, I honestly thought that was it. Like, that was the ending. Oh my god. I thought there was at least a few more minutes, but nope. It ended kind of right there, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait for next week. Like, yes, it wasn't the best episode, but it went so fast that I'm like, I want more. and that's how much I'm enjoying this anime right now. I want to see more. I want to see what happens, and I can't wait. Honestly, this is one of the first animes or at least the first shows I've watched on a week-to-week basis, and I have to wait for every episode to come out in like years. Like, I haven't done this since, I don't know, in over a decade now. I haven't really watched things as it comes out. I always waited, and I've always watched other shows, but now I'm waiting to see every week what the next episode brings, and it's very exciting to see. And I'm always like, I'm just always impatient. I'm always waiting to see what happens. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts and opinions, and I hope you guys are, enjoying this. So, stay tuned for the next week. Have a great day, and of course, I will see you guys then. So, any last thoughts? Just FYI, if you guys, that's it for My Hero. But if you guys haven't noticed, I have been a little bit slow on the content uploading for the past week. I do apologize for that. I will be trying to get stuff out, but unfortunately, kind of been doing other things as well as, personal stuff. So personal life stuff. I hope you guys understand. I will be putting out more Fire Emblem and Kingdoms of Amalur, so stay tuned for those as well. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.